Hey, Ty Brady here with Brady Insurance Marketing in the Ty Brady Way, one of the nation's largest field marketing organizations that helps independent agents achieve a 6- and 7-figure income with the systems and strategies that I'm going to talk about with you today.
Welcome back to another episode of the Ty Brady Way. Today, I'm going to share with you the adventures of Ty Brady and the family that happened to us recently, because you can't make this stuff up. So every year as a family, we end up going to Lake Powell. Those of you who don't know what Lake Powell is, it's in southern Utah, and it is a beautiful lake. The water, when we go down, there's about 83 degrees, and we have a timeshare houseboat that we go to every year. We bid for it, and my kids really love it. It's a week where we detach from, there's no cell phones, there's no TV. It's strictly just them either wakeboarding, tubing, or anything that they want to do in the water, just float and chill. They could do that as well. But it's one of those things that we've done for the last 6 years, and my kids really like it. We get really tan, and it gives us time to spend time together because there's nothing else to do but play in the water and play games and talk with friends that come down. But this year was epic in a way. So the first thing is every year before I go out, you have to take a boat to the houseboat, because the houseboat sits out on a buoy. So this year, every year I go out and I test my boat to make sure that everything's good to go. And I tested it this year, took it up to a local reservoir, and everything was good. But on my way back, I was walking around my trailer and I had a tire that started to show the wear and tear that's still around the tire. So I had to fix that. And then I looked where I was going to take it out again. My wife wanted to go to another reservoir for the weekend. And there was, I noticed the rail where the boat sits on, it had rotted, and the bracket from the rail busted through the bottom of my boat. So I had to fix a fiberglass repair. So I had a blown tire, I had a rail I had to fix, and that was challenging because you got this 3,500 pound boat that you have to jack up, pull the rail out, make sure everything's secure, and then put everything back together. So I was able to do that. So here we are, we're ready to go down to Powell. And as we're traveling down there, we get about 20 miles away from where you actually launch the boat, and I blew another tire. And keep in mind, it's 109 degrees. Yeah, you may or may not have the right tools. My spare tire, we get it put on, and it was like half filled. So my wife had to back up the minivan, plugged in the compressor. We pumped it up enough and got the boat on the water. So I'm like, man, we're great. What else could happen, right? So we get out on the water. We're get there Wednesday, and on the next day we go out Thursday morning, and we're tubing, and all of a sudden I hear this loud clink, 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 clink sound. And last time that happened, the outdrive on my motor went out. So here we are. We haven't even spent a full day on the water because we get there Wednesday. Here it is Thursday morning. We're getting towed into the local marina dock. I have a little kicker motor that won't start. Come to find out, the kicker motor, the impeller on it's bad, so that's why it was overheating and dying. And the clinking sound, which I thought was the outdrive because I tried starting it multiple times, and it made that loud sound. And I didn't want to have to spend, $10,000 to $12,000 fixing it. We get towed in by a guy. We're out in the middle of nowhere. We get to the dock. We're trying to figure out how we're going to maneuver from the boat that doesn't work now, get it on a trailer, get the houseboat back. I mean, it was a fiasco. But, my kids were troopers, and I come back and tell my wife. So the lucky guy took my kids back to the houseboat, and I stayed with the boat trying to figure out what was wrong, see if we could get it going again, or for something that could be repaired, which it wasn't. It wasn't something that could be repaired there. So my kids are on the houseboat. They actually told my wife that we sunk the boat, and she's like, oh, okay. Well, last year we almost sunk the boat, but this year we didn't sink the boat. But we get it back. We get my boat, back to the houseboat. And then I'm like, well, how do I get the boat back to the trailer? Well, my other buddy that has a timeshare, he had a jet ski. So I got a ride over to his houseboat, took the jet ski off of wave runner, not jet ski. Took the wave runner and it actually towed my boat, got it back on the trailer with the wave runner. Once we got that done, I was like, okay, we're all right. We got a houseboat. We can move. We can maneuver. And with the houseboat, you got to take and go. You got to dump the gray water in the fresh tank. You've got to do some things for the next people coming. So it was a little bit of a challenge because we had to go and empty the pooper pump. Then we had to put fresh water in. Then we had to go get gasoline. Then we had to go to the dock to unload. And then we went from the dock back to the buoy. And then I had to get an executive ride back to my truck. So just to get out of there, it was like one thing after another after another. But I look at it this way. You know, my kids, I said, hey, what did you learn from this week? They said, Dad, that we're not quitters. Dad, we are not quitters. And I'm like, we are not quitters. We enjoyed it. I've learned a lot about being in, 4 or 5 hours away on a lake, but that's not all. So we get the boat on the trailer, we get the houseboat back on the buoy, I get a ride back from the executive dock, and I'm driving home, and we blow a tire again. Now, this is the funny part. I'm like, we're in the middle of nowhere. I mean, you're 2 hours from nowhere at this point. I mean, you go into Grand Junction, it's on a Saturday, or you could go into I-80 towards Salina. That's about your only options you have. So I called 3 different places. The first guy I call him up. He says, hey, you know what? I'm in Grand Junction, Colorado. I'll be back in 5 hours, but I have the tires you need. You just got to wait. I'm like, I can't wait for 5 hours. Call the next person. Call them up. They say, you know what? My husband's out on a tow in rural Utah. He's not going to be back. But guess what? I don't have the tires. So they're like, well, call this guy. So I call this guy at a storage place, and luckily he had the tires. But get this. I pull up. There's nobody there. There's a number on the door that says, please call for assistance. I call the number. This guy comes out, and he's like, well, I got the tires. He said, but I've only changed 10 to 12 tires in my entire career. I said, well, I've used these once or twice. Can we help? Can I help? I literally used his floor jack, jacked up my boat, pulled the tire off, helped him get the boat or the tire on the new rim, get it back on my boat, and then take the tire off the spare tire rim, and put the new tire on. By the way, because we blew the tire on the way there was a place we stopped at. They didn't have our tire, so I had a tire that was about an inch smaller that I put on. So when I blew that tire coming back home, I put that tire on at least to get it to where we needed to go. And then I got 2 new tires, helped the guy put them on, and then we were able to head for home. It was an adventure, to say the least. My kids had a great time. My wife had a great time. And it's always memories that it's memories that you make as a family. And I talk a lot about family time. My Fantastic Four, it's family, faith, financial freedom, and free time. And I'm able to do that. My family is resilient. We had a great time at Lake Powell. One of the things I want people to understand that trip to Lake Powell is follow your intuition. And there was a couple of things that I learned. So as I told you the story about me having to fix the rails on my boat trailer to get the boat on it. And then I had to jack it up. I'm like, as I was jacking on my boat trailer, something said to me, hey, Ty, put that jack in the back of your truck. Take the star wrench that I used to change that blown tire from the previous trip, put that in the back of my truck. It would have been a lot worse changing those tires had I not listened to my intuition. I mean, I had the room in my truck. I had the time, but I'm telling you what, that jack made it a lot easier, and that star wrench to change those tires, especially after changing 3 of them. And I'm telling you, I could probably change a tire in less than 15 minutes now. And even when it's 109 degrees. The other thing too is something else told me, put some gloves in your truck, which I did. But I'm telling you, it's 109 degrees trying to change a tire. Things are extremely hot. So follow your intuition. Don't ever give up and just fight through. But this is the adventures of Ty Brady and his family. And tune in to the next one. And always share, like, and subscribe.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Ty Brady Way. As always, share, like, and subscribe. Go to Instagram at ty.r.brady. And as always, love hearing from you. And let me know what you want to learn on the show or what you'd like me to bring up on the show. Thanks.
You can find the Ty Brady Way on Instagram as well as Facebook. To stay connected with giveaways and Ty himself, go ahead and follow at ty.r.brady on Instagram as well as Facebook. This podcast was recorded, edited, and produced by Whitney Face Media Marketing. The theme music is an excerpt from Hot Chicken of the Woods by Isaac Joel.